Hello, dear viewers. Assalamu alaikum. I'd like to warmly welcome you to this virtual and online lecture presentation. And I'm strongly convinced that you are all well by the grace of Almighty. And I would like to warmly welcome you to this virtual online lecture presentation. And I hope that you will be joining with me until I finish the whole lecture, and I would be giving you a lot of valuable information regarding HSC's second paper, one of the very important topics of your HSC second paper. So with this, I'm gonna welcome you once again to my virtual class. Especially, this lecture has been actually made for HSC second paper and second year students, but this can also be followed by the first year students as well, because in your first paper, you have first year syllabus, you have 50 for first paper and 50 for second paper. So from that perspective, this lecture can also be very much suitable for you. Anyway, so let's get started to the session. Okay, as for me, I'm Mazharul Haq, Assistant Professor of English, Kuala Victoria Government College. Okay, this is what I would like to be talking with you, right from verbs. And you will have 5 marks for this, but that is not very important. The important thing is to let you know the rules, all the important detailed information about the verbs in the sentences, which could be really helpful for, solving other grammatical items as well. So let us go to the next slide. And with this, I'm going to start off the real discussion. Okay, dear students, I want to let you know one thing, that you will have to follow the rules. I have tried to bring all the important rules which are actually available and applicable for HSC syllabus. And I hope if you follow me quietly, if you follow me with your own concentration, you could catch the rules and examples very easily. So let's start the discussion one by one. So first one is rule 1. Rule 1 means actually singular subject means singular verb. Plural subject, plural verb. This is also called one kind of subject-verb agreement. Yes. So look at the example here. Laura is a meritorious student. So Laura is singular, is singular, very simple. So it means that singular verb agrees with singular verb, singular subject agrees with singular verb, and plural subject agrees with plural verb. Vehicles create traffic jam. So vehicles is plural, and create is also verb, but that is also used in the plural form. So this is the rule. Okay, so let us now go to the second rule. Okay, the second rule is like this. Preposition, there are some prepositions used in English. They can be followed by noun or verb plus ing. So look at the example. Television is a popular source of entertainment, or for all, or entertaining all classes of people. Either you can use television is a popular source of entertainment, or you can say television is a popular source of entertaining all classes of people. So either you can both the forms, that is noun, or with verb plus ing. So let us go to the next slide. Rule number 3. Yes, that is it. Rule number 3. Rule number 3 is also very simple. Infinitive to plus main form of the verbs. You will have to use to. When you use infinitive, you have to use the base form or the main form of the verbs, like this. But in case of using the verbs or phrases, like addicted to, averse to, be used to, with a view to, look for to, get used to, be accustomed to, then you have to use the participle like verb plus ing. Very important rule, that is, look at the example. Cynthia went to London to get a good job. Asif tried to join the Bangladesh Navy. These 2 sentences I have tried to show you the use of infinitive, but the rest of the 2 sentences, I look forward to seeing you once again. I was used to smoking, but I do not smoke now. So you can see here, look forward to is followed by a participle, like sing, and used to is also followed by smoking, that is also a participle. So this rule is like this. Now let's go to rule number 4. There are some modal auxiliaries like can, could, may, might, shall, should, will, would, must, used to, have to, need, dare, and ought to. They always follow the base form of the verb, that is the main form of the verb. So you can follow the example. You ought to listen to your parents' guidelines, or I have to have a gadget to conduct my online classes. So you can see that modal auxiliaries are followed by also the main form of the verb. That is why this rule is made. There might be a landslide after the torrential rain. You can see one thing, dear students, that I have tried to use a lot of new words to which it could be helpful for you to get a lot of vocabulary and its ideas, because you have synonyms and antonyms in this paper. So the more you get ideas about the new words, that the more it will be helpful for you to get used to using words. Okay, so this is rule number 4. Now I'm going to go the next slide. Okay, rule number 5. Rule number 5 is while plus verb plus ing. When you use while, you have to use verb plus ing. Look at the example. While walking in the garden, he trampled down some plants. Trampled down means you are actually destroying some plants with your foot. You are actually stepped on something, that is called trampled down. And the second example, while sleeping, I dreamt a good dream. That is another example. So you can see from this example that it's all very important, like while plus ing, I mean verb plus ing is very important. Rule 6, have, has, had, get, got, getting, or having is always followed by V3 or past participle of the main verb, or that is called or adjective. Either past participle of the main verb or adjective. There is another option here, have, has, had, get, got, getting, or having is followed by an object or noun phrase plus past participle of the main verb or adjective. I think better you have taken a very special concentration on the example because structures is a little bit more difficult for the students. So if you look at the examples, that will give you a very clear idea about the sentence. So look at the sentence. She got married yesterday. Having taken the money, the thief ran away. So having plus taken, got plus married. I had my car cleaned. Have you got the work done? And the last example, our culture is getting westernized. So when you use have, has, had, get, got, getting, or having, you must use an object or noun phrase. And after that, you have to use the past participle of the main verb, V3, or an adjective. Look at the last example. Our culture is getting westernized. So getting, when you use this verb, the object will become an adjective, or it can be called a past participle of the main verb. Okay, so let's get going and go to the next slide. Rule number 7, passive voice, especially when you use the modal auxiliaries like can be, could be, maybe, might be, shall be, should be, would be, must be, used to be, have to be, ought to be, then of course past participle of the main verb will have to be used. Look at the example. The work ought to be done. He will be helped by me. So there is no denying the fact that when you use the be verb, it will be followed by the past participle of the main verb. So rule number 8 now. Each boy, each, every, one, or any is followed by one or more singular noun. If they're followed by one or more singular noun, they will be followed by a singular verb. So, of course, that must be born in your mind. This is a tricky example. Look at the example. Each boy and each girl was present there, not where, because this is the rule that when you use each, every, one, or any, you must use singular noun followed by a singular verb. So each boy and each girl was present there, and each boy and girl has been given 100 taka. The second example has been transformed into passive voice. has been given, but singular, of course. Look at rule number 9 now. Population, public, crowd, army, congress, committee, team, government, family, pair, dozen, scenery, knowledge, 100,000, furniture, machinery, formation, bread, money, advice, poetry, gallows, ethics, mathematics, physics, news, electronics, dynamics, $2 to $3, 2 to 3 miles, or something like that, will always be followed by a singular verb. That is very important. That looks, they are actually plural, but they are not plural. Like news is not a plural, electronics is not plural, but they will have to be followed by a singular verb. So look at this example. All news, e-news runs apace. Physics is a critical subject. Huge crowd was gathered at the 7th March speech. So you can see, dear students, these are all important example with this rule. So don't forget to use the singular verb after these special verbs. So you have to remember these verbs and practice it hard. Okay, let's get going and go to the next slide. Okay, rule number 10 now. People, spectacles, trousers, scissors, benches, clothes, goods, headquarters, vegetables, laws, police, cattle, folk, circumstances, or gentry are always followed by plural verb, not singular this time. So look at the example. His circumstances are not good. People don't eat the same food. Vegetables contain vitamin. So you can see there are examples that these, when you use these special verbs, I mean the nouns, you must use the plural verbs, not the singular verbs, like circumstances, people, vegetables, and all this. Okay, rule number 11 now. Rule number 11, who, whose, whom, which, that is always followed by the verb, but there is a condition. It will have to be followed by the subject preceded by the relative pronoun. That is, when you use who, whose, whom, which, that, or other WH words, you have to precede means go back just before the sentence. You have to follow the subject. So the verb will be depending upon the subject preceded by it. Look at the example. It's I who am your friend. It means that you, since you are using who, there is a subject I singular, and that is why am. It is I who am, not is. It is you, singular, preceded by, followed by who, and who is preceded by you, so that is why are. It is you who are my friend. These are the people whose identity were never known. So this rule is a little bit tricky, and of course you have to be very cautious in using this rule. Okay, dear students, moving on, going to the next slide. Rule number 12 now. Feel, love, hear, like. These are all verbs actually. There are a lot of verbs, but you must remember those. There is a trick here. These are actually called the emotional verbs. So when you use emotional verbs like this, these are emotions. So you can remember it very easily. Feel, love, hear, like, hate, see, forget. You have to use the present indefinite tense. I mean, it will have to be, these verbs must be used in the present indefinite tense. Like, I see the bird, I hear news, the vegetables dish smells delicious, I forget everything. So when you use emotion verbs, they must be used in the present indefinite tense. Rule number 13. Distance, money, time. When you use one of these fractions, you must use singular verb. Like this, 30 miles is a long way, not are. 100 years is a long time. Money begets money. This is a little bit more tricky because it seems to be plural, miles, but it's not. It have to be considered. It will have to be considered singular. That is why we have used singular noun. 30 miles, 100 years, and money is also considered plural. Dear students, moving on. Okay, rule number 14 now. Prefer plus to plus verb plus ing. When you use prefer, you use to, then ing. But in case of having two choices or two preferences, you have to use subject, prefer, plus first choice, then to, then second choice. Look at the example. Jane prefers to eating avocados. Sujana prefers to reading newspaper. So remember, when you use prefer, it must be followed by to, but there is no infinitive after that. There is a preposition, sorry, there is a participle. like eating and reading. He prefers lemonade to iced tea. So the last example means there are two preferences, lemonade and iced tea. The subject or the narrator prefers lemonade, then the iced tea. So the sentence like this, he prefers lemonade to iced tea. Okay, rule number 15 now. Money, verb without get used to, got used to, be used to, past, can't help, couldn't help, would you mind is always followed by verb plus ing. Look at the example. Would you mind having a cup of tea? Or he can't help denying the proposal. So when you use these words or phrases, you must use the participle of the main verb. Okay, moving on, going to the next slide. Okay, rule number 16 now. Rule number 16, there are some phrases like had better, had rather, would rather, let, must. Then some more, dare, make, would sooner, had sooner. Plus, when you use these phrases, you have to use the verb, but that must be used the base form or the main form of the verb. Like this, he had better read newspaper regularly. So look at that, had better and read, the main form of the verb. I will not let you enter the classroom. Something like this, but for using let plus subject, object plus verb 1, when you use this example, you can see this example is a little bit different than the first one. When you use let, then the example is a little bit different, like let is followed by a subject, then the verb form, main form. So don't use let directly with the main form of the verb like this. I will not let you enter into this classroom. Okay, last one, I dared him jump. He dare not do so. So dare is a very special verb. Look at the example, I dared him to stop. It means that when you use dare as a main verb, then you can use this. But when you use dare as an auxiliary verb, you have to use like this, he dare not do so, because it's an auxiliary verb. That is why you don't use s after he dare. It should not be said like he dares, because it's an auxiliary verb. So he dare not do so, like this. As very special care must be given in this verb. Okay, rule number 17 now. It is time, when you use it is time, it is high time, wish or fancy, then you use the subject after that. Then the V2 means past tense, past indefinite form of the verb, and then the object or extension. So this is the example. I fancy, I turned a trifle pale. It's high time, we changed our eating habits. So you can see when you use high time or it is time or wish or fancy, then you have to use the subject, then V2 means the past indefinite form of the main verb. Then you can go for extension as your own relevant way possible. Okay, rule number 18 now. Lest plus subject plus should plus V1, that is present form of the verb or base form of the verb, plus extension. So look at the example. Walk first, lest you should miss the train. So you can see lest plus subject is you, then you can use should, and automatically the main form of the verb, then the extension. Read attentively, lest you should miss many important points. Miss means actually confuse. So you can see also the same rule. Lest is followed by the subject first, then should, then automatically the main form of the verb, and then the extension according to your own sentences. So dear students, there are a lot of rules actually, but I hope you haven't lost the patience. And with this, I'm going to the next slide. Okay, rule number 19 now. Clause in present tense. When you use the clause in present tense, then you use the since. Then you have to use clause in past indefinite tense. Look at the example. It is many years since I came to Dhaka. It's been raining continuously since I came here. So when you use clause in the present tense, it will be followed by a past indefinite tense or past tense in the sentence, in the next clause. That is it. Rule number 20, clause in the present perfect or past indefinite tense. When you use since, then the clause in the present or present perfect or past indefinite will be followed by past perfect, like this. Many years have passed since I had met her. So look at that first sentence, present perfect, right sentence, that is right, means after that, since, after since, past perfect. Many days passed since I had missed her. is very important because you have to maintain the sequence of these types of sentences. Okay, now rule number 21. Clause in the past perfect tense, plus before, and then clause in the past indefinite tense. And again, clause in the past indefinite tense, plus after, and then clause in the past perfect tense. So there is a secret of you memorizing the rule. The rule is that before, and after, perfect tense, past perfect tense. So you can see in the first example, the patient had died before the doctor came. The patient had died. The patient died after the doctor had come. So it means that before, past perfect, and after, past perfect. So this is the way you can remember this rule. So the patient had died before the doctor came. The patient died after the doctor had come. Dear students, moving on and going to the next slide, rule number 22 now. There are some uncountable nouns in English like water, air, tea, sugar, environment, furniture, kindness. Some more is there as well. Rainfall, reputation, wood, paper, gum, courtesy, art, bread, oxygen, smoke, Bangla, English. They are all followed by singular verb. Don't forget this. Like this example, air is an important element of the environment. Water plays a vital role in agriculture. So all the uncountable nouns are followed by singular verb. Very important. Rule 23, arithmetical equations or sequence is followed by a singular verb. Like 5 plus 5 is 10, 10 minus 5 is 5, 10 divided by 2 is 5. So you can see that when you use arithmetical equations or any arithmetical sequence, you must use singular verb, not the plural verb. Rule number 24. There are some adverbs like regularly, generally, usually, occasionally, normally, naturally, frequently, every day, daily. They are used in present indefinite tense. Very important. Like this. Organizations frequently need employees who speak a standard form of English. English usually helps to get a good job. He always says his prayers. So when you use these adverbs, you are supposed to use these adverbs in the present indefinite tense. Okay, your students, moving on. Okay, rule number 25. There are some adverbials, that is adverb phrase, they are called adverbials, like now, at this time, the moment, at present, day by day, increasingly, rapidly. They are also used and always used in the present continuous tense. Look at this sentence. Mobile phone users are increasing day by day. The train is not going to be started at the moment. So second sentence has been transformed into passive, but the rule is same, because when you use these phrases, you must use present continuous tense. Rule number 26 now. Past indicative adverbials like yesterday, one day ago, once, last, after a few days. And these are all past indicating adverbials. When you use this in a sentence, the sentence would be used in the past indefinite tense like this. I received your letter yesterday. One day I borrowed a book from you. Once upon a time, Russia was ruled by czars. So you can see that when you use these adverbs, don't forget to use the past indefinite tense. Okay, rule number 27. There are some adverbs like just now, already, yet, ever, lately, recently, immediately. When you use this sentence, you have to use it in the present perfect tense like this. He has been transferred from Dhaka recently, or you can say he has transferred, either active or passive. We have shifted to a safer place immediately. So you can see the examples. When you use these adverbs, don't forget to use it in the present perfect tense. Rule 28. No sooner had plus subject plus B3. B3 means past participle of the main verb, then object, then THN, first object or another, then past indefinite form, and then extension. Long, actually it's a long structure, but don't look at the structure. I want you to learn the sentence. You don't need to memorize or learn the structures. Structures will automatically be created upon your mind. So look at the examples. No sooner had we entered the room, then they started clapping. Sincerely had Sam closed the door when the calling bell started ringing. Hardly had I seen the police when he started running. Hardly had Ben entered the room when or before his phone started ringing. I want you to take a very closer look upon my examples because the examples were made very carefully for you to get valuable ideas. Okay, moving on, going to the next slide. Okay, these are all the rules. I'm sure that you are a little bit bored of listening to the rules. Actually, who wants to listen to grammatical rules? But there is no other way to actually telling it in other way. So now is the time to give you an exercise. It's a worked out exercise. I mean, I will try to give you the answer of the exercise. You can try it yourself. Okay, so let me read it. For 3 years now, Dhaka ranked second from bottom in the Economic Intelligence Unit survey of 140 cities under the Global Liability Index. The scores based on 5 major criteria: health, care, culture, environment, education, and infrastructure. The Dhaka tops only Damascus, no comfort for the million residents of Dhaka. However, we are not altogether surprised by the results. We downgrade our environment by its systematic destruction. There is lack of proper public transportation, and the horrendous traffic system and poor management cost the GDP 1 to 2% in annual growth, according to Asian Development Bank's latest estimates. Our score of 29.2 on a scale of 100 is identical with Damascus, and we be aghast to learn that Dhaka lagged. Damascus experienced siege and bombardment over the last 4 years, whereas Dhaka have at peace for over 4 decades since independence. So it's a specimen exercise for you. In your final exam, you will be given this sort of exercise. So you have to get preparation. This is the exercise of a recent survey based between 2 towns, Dhaka and Damascus. Damascus is the capital of Syria. Okay, so let's see. I think you have got the answer. If you try it, you can get answer. So let's talk about the answer now. And here you can see the answers are here. The first one has been ranked, are based, is surprised, have downgraded, is costing, are, is lagging, has experienced, has been. So I'm going to give you one thing for you to understand. The first sentence, for 3 years now, Dhaka ranked second from bottom in the Economic Intelligence Unit's survey of 140 cities under the Global Liability Index. It means that it's a statement. So you have to think about it, what type of sentence it would become. It would become a passive sentence. So the answer would be, for 3 years now, Dhaka has been ranked. If you say Dhaka ranked, then the sentence's meaning is not clear. So the correct answer would be, for 3 years now, Dhaka has been ranked. That could be the correct answer. The second one, the scores based on 5 major criteria. The scores is based on 5 major criteria. This is also very important for you because scores is actually a plural word. So are based, this is also passive. So are based on 5 major criteria: health, care, environment, culture, education, infrastructure. That Dhaka tops only Damascus, dash no comfort for the million residents of Dhaka. And you can see the answer is. Why not? That Dhaka tops only Damascus is. Be means to be verbs like am, is, are, was, were. So you can use according to the subject. That Dhaka is singular. So you have to use singular verb is. However, we are not altogether surprised by the result. It's already done. We are not, it means it's passive. So it would be surprised. We are downgraded. Look at the example of this one and look at the answer. Have downgraded, E. It means that this one, sorry. We have downgraded our environment by its systematic destruction. So this example, however, we are not altogether surprised by the results. We have downgraded our environment by its system. It means that since the first sentence is in the present form, you have to use the rest of the sentence in the present form. So the answer would be, we have downgraded, means we have already downgraded our environment. Okay, the rest of the sentences will be done by yourself. So dear students, I have given you this example, so you can try it yourself. Not only that, you can try more and more from your book. And with this, I'm going to conclude this long session actually, because there are a lot of rules. I've tried to show you those rules in a very systematic and easiest way possible. Hope you have enjoyed it. Thank you for your support and patience, and see you again another day. So until then, goodbye. And if you have any query, don't forget to email me. My email ID is mazhar.talk@gmail.com. So with this, I'm going to conclude today's session. Thank you very much. See you again another day.